In the Pits is partnered with the Splat Zone Trinity 3-Man Paintball Series. The series, put on by Splat Zone Indoor Paintball, offers a fun and competitive opportunity for tournament play for players of all experience levels. Beginner, Division 5, and Open 3v3 X-Ball gives all players a chance to gather two friends and have some fun. Are you a beginner interested in playing, but worried your setup won't be competitive? Not to worry, Splat Zone will have several setups on hand for beginner division players if needed. The series is even investing in bringing my personal ref crew from outside the Houston area, guaranteeing that your experience that day will be run smoothly and fairly. Registration is live now for the season opener on Sunday, May 25th, so grab two friends and get signed up today. In the Pits is partnered with BEM Wraps. Behind every mask is a unique and creative player. Tap into it when you order your next custom headpiece. Their Build-A-Band lets you communicate with them one-on-one to make your order just the way you want, all the way down to the color of the stitch. Check out their Instagram at BEMWraps for drops and build videos of them working on orders. They offer very competitive pricing, so reach out today to get started on your own one-of-a-kind headpiece. In the Pits is partnered with 71 Designs. Owned and operated by veteran Wade Martin, and partnered with fellow Texas brand Compete. 71 Designs can take your ideas for soft goods, merchandise, and casual wear and make them a reality. Message 71 Designs on Facebook or Instagram to get started today. In the Pits is partnered with QBR. Are you seeking to heal and recover from the toll that paintball puts on the mind and body? QBR has the solution for you. Head to QBRofficial.com and use code PITS10 for 10% off of your order, plus free shipping. QBR, they don't sell broccoli. In the Pits is partnered with XTPL Events. The Extreme Tournament Paintball League is a series put on by the Lukow family of paintball fit fame that gives the opportunity for players to learn and grow together as a team. 3-man, Challengers and Champions X-Ball, Draft Mech X-Ball, Super 7s, U3v3, even Glow-in-the-Dark Mech X. There's something for everyone at XTPL. Not to mention prize tosses, raffles, and the infamous paintball munching contest. Events happen throughout the year, and the prizes never disappoint. Sign up for an XTPL event today on PB Leagues. In the Pits is partnered with Hydra. Designed by players for players, you can outfit yourself in Hydra gear from head to toe. Have confidence that when you make a purchase from Hydra, you are purchasing a well-tested and well-thought-out product, trusted by several top teams, including World Cup Pro Champions Paintball Fit. I personally recommend their Hydra Black knee pads. Purchases over $100 receive free shipping. Head to hydra.fit to browse their selection and discover the Hydra mentality. In the Pits is partnered with Texas Pro player Jared Sherman. In a world where saving time means making money, Jared's local seed bank is making waves in Texas, carrying a large assortment of Texas-approved varieties for use in the Texas Hemp Program, seeds for novelty use, as well as premium genetics bred for solventless extraction. Jared Sherman has the ability to satisfy even the most sophisticated collectors. Head to his website and use code INTHEPITS for 10% off of your orders. In the Pits is partnered with Mariachi Águilas de Oro. Based in Austin and servicing the surrounding areas, these Golden Eagles will bring life to any event you are having, from birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, corporate events, or even a simple performance to enjoy. Guillermo Padilla, one of their trumpet players, is also a member of the Texas paintball scene. Visit them on Facebook and Instagram to check out some of their past performances, or give them a call to book them for your event today. In the Pits is partnered with the San Antonio 3v3 Paintball Series. The series provides local players with an affordable, fun opportunity to experience the excitement of tournament paintball and has already seen events sell out. I personally am the head referee for the series, and I can't wait to see you there. Visit SAT3v3.com for details on upcoming events, or head to PB Leagues to register your team today. In the Pits is partnered with Get Dat Shot. Get Dat Shot is a local Texas videographer with numerous events experience filming on the Major League Paintball Pro field. Needing coverage for an upcoming event? Message him at getdat_shot on Instagram and let him know In the Pits sent you. In the Pits is partnered with Paintball Kumite. Paintball Kumite is a program designed by Colt Roberts of professional team San Antonio X Factor to take paintball players of all ages, experience levels, and skill groups and mold them into champions. The program breaks the game down into small, easy-to-learn sessions designed to help you master the fundamentals so that you can elevate your game. Newcomers to the program get a free 1-hour introductory class when mentioning In the Pits. To sign up for a class, message at Paintball Kumite on Instagram. Oh, there we go. Took me a little bit. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 143 of In the Pits Paintball Podcast. This podcast is focused on everything that has to do with the paintball scene here in Texas, from professional players and teams to new divisional programs, local tournament series, field owners, Texas-based brands, even photographers and videographers. Every week, we'll have a short and sweet episode with a new topic and new special guest. I'm Christian Dallas Smith. I'm a player for the Texas Titans. In this episode, we're going in the pits with Grayson Gladstone and James Green, pro players for ASG Aftermath. Gentlemen, how are you doing this evening?
James, please.
Very good, thank you. How are you?
Feeling good. It's event week. What else can I say? Well, I feel like the week leading up to the event, most of the paintball players out there, especially if they're playing X-Ball this weekend, feels like everything that they do is just completely focused on what's coming up. And it's like, oh, I got to hurry up and get these other things done before our flight. And the nervous energy is definitely in the air. I don't know about y'all.
Yeah, today's going to be busy. It's basically after 4 days of practice, you just blink your eyes and suddenly you're in Atlantic City.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So let's go ahead and get started. So this question is going to be for both of you guys, and it's brought to us by XTPL Events. So for those listening that maybe don't know about you, how long have you been involved in the tournament scene?
I can go first. So I've been playing now for about 18 years, I think, probably competing for about 16 of those. So I started when I was very young. There's lots of photos of me on my Facebook feed all the way back to the end of being about 3 foot tall and trying to run the snake. Long time, long journey.
Yeah, so I was gonna say you haven't hit 30 yet, so 18 years. Like I've
been playing since I was 10.
Yeah, don't go back to any of those
forms
that you have to sign at the field.
Down.
Yeah.
How about you, Grayson?
I've been playing pretty much since I was about 17, so coming up on around 12 years now.
All right. And so what are some of if you want to list every team you can, or just the more notable ones that you've played for over the years?
So there's kind of like 4 main teams I'd say that I played for during that time. I started off in a very local team, so I've got to shout them out because they'll probably listen, called Militia. I'm still in a group chat with a few of those guys. So that's pretty cool. And then I played for a team called Impact that were a bit more serious. It was London Impact, not Edmonton Impact, unfortunately. There we go, London Impact, maybe. So they did a bit more traveling, and so played some of the European international events. There was a few different series at the time, so I played with them. And then when I turned 18 and went off to university, I joined the Lucky 15s, who I still play for. So I played for them for about 10 years now. And then this season, play with Aftermath and Grayson.
Yeah. And myself, I would say, some early teams were Rockstar Factory and Straight Shooters. And then I pretty much played with the California branch of the Boom organization from D4 up until semi-pro, and we became California Elite. And then right before I went pro, I had a stint with, it was kind of like a hodgepodge organization, a mix of Collision, Violence, and Mutiny. And then went pro with Dynasty, played with Diesel for a few years, and now I've been with Aftermath. This is my 3rd season with them.
Awesome. Yeah, I know in a couple of the previous episodes, having some other guests on, like Jet from the Shot Camp, we've talked about our histories, basically staying with the same team, the same organization, climbing up the divisional ranks, and how much faster that is and overall better for your development versus just team hopping every year.
Yeah, I mean, I could say when I was playing a long time ago, I was very eager to jump the divisions. If I was playing D4, I wanted to play D3. If I was playing D2, I wanted to play D1. And now looking back on it, I'm so glad that wherever I was playing experience wise, I got as many tournaments under my belt as I could. And, I would just say play those divisions while you can, get as much tournament experience, and then grow from there. Keep playing D4 until you can.
Yep, I am a big proponent of that. Practice up, but play down as long as you can. For sure. So this next question is brought to us by QBRofficial.com. Grayson, we'll start with you. So what was it that got you into paintball to begin with?
So when I was way too young to play, maybe 5, my brother was playing paintball twice a week. And then by the time I was old enough, we didn't have any money in my family to be able to do it. But at least I knew about paintball. My brother had an Alias Intimidator and an autococker. And then when I was in high school, my aunt just woke up one morning and said to my cousins and I, like, hey, let's just go play paintball. And I was instantly hooked. I was trying to go play as much as I could. And then eventually, I just kept going and everyone else fizzled off and I got into the tournament scene.
All right. James, how about you?
Similar kind of story for me, actually. So when I was 10, I snuck into my brother's 13-year-old birthday party because you had to be 13 to play in the UK. Okay. So I, snuck under the radar somehow and got to shoot my older brother, which is great. Any younger brothers out there, it's a good sport for you. Because my older brother has always been bigger than me. And back then he would always beat me up. So I was instantly hooked because I was like, great, I have an outlet. And it was about the same time that I got told for some medical reasons that I couldn't play other sports. And I could play paintball. And my parents were like, sweet, he's got a thing that he likes. So I was, lying to the guys at the local Woodsball Field for like 3 or 4 years, being like, yeah, I'm 15 now, or whatever. And eventually they were like, you come here pretty much every other week. Do you want to come play some tournament stuff with us? Because they had their own little team. And it all kind of kicked off from there. And then exactly the same story as Grayson. You get hooked, keep going. And eventually everyone else fizzles out and you end up somewhere going, this really got out of hand, didn't it? So...
No money, a lot of new friends.
Yeah, a lot of flights. But it's a great community. I wouldn't trade it.
Yeah, absolutely. I know with being able to play paintball, not necessarily being able to play other sports, like especially as you get into like the high school age, a lot of people just like, sorry, you're not born with the right body type to play. And that's true with a lot of sports like basketball, American football, soccer even, but paintball is one of those, like all kinds can play, whether you're 6'6" or 4'7", you've got a spot on the field for you somewhere. Yeah. And I know this past weekend was the NFL draft, and I remember like thinking like, oh, all of these guys are just massive human beings. It doesn't matter what position they play. They're either like 6'1" or 6'4" and like just stupid fast. And like, I enjoy playing that sport, but I just kind of sized out of it pretty early on. It's cool that paintball is one of those that's not as big of a deal.
Yeah. I think athleticism is still important in paintball for sure. And like, stamina, as you go up the ranks and have to play lots and lots of points back to back. But for me, it's a big old chess match with like a massive time and skill constraint. Like, so it's not, I completely agree. It's more about the mind and making good decisions. And you look at all the best pro guys, they all have a very different style. And it's kind of like, you don't have to be perfect at this specific thing if you can make up for it here. It's a very sort of dynamic sport in that way.
100%. So this next question is just for Grayson, and it's brought to us by the San Antonio 3v3 series. So this show is a Texas-based show, and you've got some history here in Texas. You played for AC Diesel back in 2022. I think you also played with them at the World Cup previous to that.
Yeah.
So you've played all over the world, in Texas, in the Mexican X-Ball League, WC. You've gone over to Europe, played for Team USA. So how does Texas ball compared to the other pockets out there in the scene?
Yeah, I mean, Texas definitely has its own style and community. Um, I think with what Mike Hinman is doing in that scene, I think it's becoming more and more close to the California scene in terms of local regional events, in terms of just talent and work ethic and the competitive scene. I mean, you have so many teams besides just Paintball Fit that come out of there that are just there's so many skilled ballers, right? I mean, you have Shut Up We're Trying, Texas Titans, you have Greed, you have the Grit Camp still. I mean, there's so many solid teams. And I think what's interesting there is a lot of the California scene has fizzled out of the NXL, but the Texas scene, it's growing with that. So I think that's really good. I think it gives a lot of players a way to grow their skill set and grow through the ranks locally and nationally.
Yeah, I know with the California scene kind of fizzling out, unfortunately, it's just due to the locations of the NXL events, in very large part. With I think the closest one to California this year is the one in Dallas, which is still quite far away. But that is an advantage, I guess, that Texas has, being like constantly hosting a major event every year. That we've got the ability to play in Texas in the NXL. It's not too far away to go down to Mexico and play, or I know plenty of people that fly out to California or go up to Kansas or to Florida. There's just so much opportunity to play pretty much whatever you want. And even here in Texas alone, there's like 2 or 3 what I would consider regional leagues, with not just the USXPL but XTPL. You've got the local Houston scene, San Antonio as well. There's a lot of opportunity to play here.
Yeah, and I'll just say bring back Vegas, and you'll get more California folks showing out.
I mean, I think everybody agrees with you there. We want it to work in some way.
Yeah, absolutely. I know Tom's trying, so we'll keep egging him on.
Definitely. All right, Greeny, this one's for you. So this one brought to us by the other 3v3 series, Splat Zone Trinity. So you're also a world traveler, as of late especially, so not only playing with the Lucky 15s over in Europe, but at World Cup last year, you guested with Leverage, and now you're fully committed with ASG Aftermath for this year. So what made you want to come compete in the US more regularly, and how did you end up choosing Aftermath specifically?
Yeah, I mean, I think any sort of European pro hopefully aspires to come and play in the States. I know at least the circle that I'm in Luckies and some of my friends in the league would all have that aspiration. A couple of my teammates have done. So Mason and TC played for Notorious at Cup last year and balled out. So that was always like on the goal, on the plan, in the roadmap, to kind of come out here, and this is where all the best players are, the most challenging tournaments, and see where you can stack up against the rest of them. Got to do it at least once, is my view. Hopefully many more times. Depends if they want me back. And to the second part of that question, why Aftermath? Grayson playing in Europe, over the last few years, we've developed a bit of a friendship. We've gone to dinner in London a couple of times, shared a few long car rides to and from events, constantly caught up with each other. And so, we just developed a bit of a friendship, and Grayson, I think, can correct me if I'm wrong, but likes the way that I play paintball and likes that I'm willing to just go heads down the snake as often as people will let me. So seemed like a good fit, to be honest. And I'm happy they asked me to come over. I feel very lucky for a team that's, one of your earlier questions was about people staying local. Yeah, I feel very lucky that they'll let me jump in as a kind of overseas guy for a team that is very local and trains together all the time.
Yeah, I mean, paintball is so much of what we're hearing more recently is that paintball is so much about like the community and the relationships that you build, more than just what goes on during those 15 minutes between the nets.
I think you've got to trust your teammates, right? So there's something to be said for 2 paintball players who are equally skills and have similar styles, and the trust factor and knowing that you're on the same page on what your philosophy on paintball is, I think is super important. And us having had those conversations, and we've spoken about random paintball things that have nothing to do with our tournaments. I think at least Grayson and I are on the same page about a lot of things. So I think there's always relationships in terms of making sure that you're noticed and to open doors and opportunities. But I do think there's a kind of trust element on the field as well that's really important, and building those relationships outside of the net, right? Means that you can be confident that someone's going to do what they're told, or if somebody makes a move, you know exactly what they're thinking about and can play off it, and you don't have to have a 20-second conversation where the whole situation can change. Yeah, we've spoken about that a few times.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's interesting, right? Because when you get to a certain level of paintball, you could literally just drop into any team, and at a certain skill level, you can just play off of each other right away.
Yeah.
I've had moments like that with Greenie. The accent makes it a little bit tougher, but
we can't communicate anyway, so you might as well just react,
But it's like opportunities playing with Team USA, for example, right? Like some of those guys I've never played with before, and from the first point, instantly being able to connect and communicate and put stuff together. It's interesting what happens with high-level paintball.
Like we had that with Zach this weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
First time I've ever played and trained with Zach as part of Aftermath, and it's just like immediately like, oh, we want to play exactly the same style of, well, maybe not the same style, but in terms of we want to work together in a very specific way, and it just clicks, and you're like, okay, this is going to work. Like we can do this pretty easily.
Yeah, it's cool to see whenever you and your teammates are just on that same page of, oh, this is how we solve this problem, or how do we create this other situation on the field. And kind of going into that, this one brought to us by BEMRAP. So we're seeing a shift in the winning formula at the pro level for paintball. It used to be that the winning teams were usually the big budget superstar teams that they would get together like 2 weekends before the event. And they were just that much better, that much more talented. But now we're seeing it's more about the grind and playing together and practicing together as much as possible. With Paintball Fit, obviously the star in the spotlight right now, winning the last 2 in a row. But Aftermath is also like constantly in the conversation of teams that are more locally focused. They're more practicing together all of the time. So have you two noticed that shift in either the Aftermath program or your personal preparation, or even notice like the ripple effect across the pro division?
So I think Aftermath has always had that identity. Maybe the roster hasn't always been local, but the identity has always been, we have this skid of paint every weekend and we're going to shoot it as a team, and we're not going home until it's all gone, right? That there's always been that work ethic as part of the name. I do think that is being carried across other teams in other parts of the league, where people are trying to have a more localized roster, or at least a roster that's more accessible so that you can practice more often. And you're seeing it with a lot of teams this year who maybe wouldn't practice until the layout weekend. They're scheduling extra weekends a few weeks ago, last week, this week. It's definitely carrying through the league to have a better work ethic, which is good.
Yeah. Preparation beats talent, right? That's what they say. Their fit's proved it twice now. Not saying they're not talented. They are very talented, but they're kind of like the stereotypical superstars. They've been putting them in their place for at least 2 tournaments now. So yeah, I mean, I've obviously been less close to the US pro division, so I can't comment on kind of the shift in the league, this being my rookie season. But I think it makes sense, right? In Lucky's, we have the same setup, right? We don't necessarily all live near each other, but we all train with each other pretty much every weekend. And it's been the same core group of guys for probably 6 years, maybe 7. And I do think there's something to be said. Like my back guy tends to be Mason on Lucky's, and he knows exactly how I want to play paintball, and I know exactly how he wants to play paintball. We don't have to have a conversation. If he sees me start going, he knows what he needs to do, or he can tell me one word and we can set up a whole game plan off that. So I think that kind of stuff only comes with chemistry. There's obviously the kind of the simple stuff we spoke about beforehand, like being able to read what someone wants to do, but then in those more complicated situations, knowing, okay, my whole team's going to react like this, and it might not be the perfect plan, but it's a plan, and we're going to do it together, and that's normally better than no plan at all. So,
Yeah,
we spoke about that at the weekend as well. so yeah, being on the same page is pretty key.
Let's do something wrong instead of nothing at all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I think we're going to see a lot of that on this field where, I mean, we'll talk about the field here in a little bit, but there's going to be some situations that players are just going to have to play off the instinct and off the chemistry that they've built, and there's not going to be time to think. Otherwise, you're just going to lose slow instead of lose fast. I think we're going to see plenty of that this weekend.
Yeah, losing's no fun. Better to do it quickly.
Definitely. So Greeny, this one's for you. This one's brought to us by Mariachi Águilas de Oro. So I've learned that you've got a side project going on that has to do with fantasy paintball. So would you like to share more details here?
Yeah, you have good inside information. So we are probably within the next 24 to 48 hours going to be launching that, so that we're doing it for AC as a kind of beta. The main crux of it is we're actually looking to do live kill count tracking. So we've been testing this over the last 3 events. We kind of did proof of concept at Windy City last year that we could do it. And then what we've been working towards is, can we make kill count more interesting than just kill count? Which I will let people find out as we launch it. So there's a bit of a twist on it than just kind of what we've done in the past of this guy shot 40 people that event. We still have those numbers, but there's a bit more detail in the kind of how they did that as well, which I think is really interesting to compare across players you think are similar, and then you break down how they're shooting people, and it's actually really different. And the idea is essentially that we can build fantasy games on top of that live stats tracking. We're umming and ahhing. Grayson and I have been debating this as well, about whether or not you use that to fund the stats tracking, because the stats tracking costs money, or if you just use other methods. But yeah, we have sort of a pick'em fantasy game that we're rolling with. Grayson's played it. He can tell you if it's fun or not.
It's very fun.
It's fun.
Yeah, we as a paintball fan and nerd, we were all just cheering on for other teams throughout the event. Like it just
come Sunday, we were like, I want this team to win because I've got him on my fantasy.
Yeah, like it got us really engaged as people who are going to watch every game already and be super excited about every point. It made it that much better. So I'm excited to see where the project goes, and I'm excited to play it again for AC.
Yeah. And the context of all that is that my background, my day-to-day, is that I do like analytics consulting. So I don't know, it felt like a problem that was solvable, and I thought I should put my brain to it. And that's kind of where it's all come from. There was that kind of like, I feel like this should be doable. And then it's kind of just much like playing paintball professionally now, spiraled out of control into something a little bit bigger than, oh yeah, that is doable. It's like, then how do we do that consistently? How do we do it live so the commentators can have it? How can we bring it to the masses? What's the platform for making it accessible? So what does the website look like? All of that kind of stuff. It's been quite an interesting challenge from that perspective, but the data side of it has been right up my street. Let's put it that way.
I love it. Yeah, I'm trying to transition into the data field. Recently left the teaching field, and stuff like that. It feels like there's opportunity, or there's like there's a need for it within our scene. Yeah. Both at the professional level, just like for the players and teams to use, but also on the production side, being able to bring those numbers and that data, that information to the viewers to help them understand what exactly they're looking at and the narratives that are going across the scene. So with your project, is there anything else you can tell us as far as like the team or individuals that you're working with to make this happen? Or
yeah, so we've I've put some skin in the game, and we've hired a proper developer to kind of make sure that we have a slick website that's accessible for everyone. So the stats would always be free to access for anyone. Just have to make an account. So that me and the developer have been working very hard on that. He's external to Paintball, but I've been kind of putting my Paintball stamp on it, right? And then really what I've been able to set up is some of my teammates back in the UK on Luckies, or some of my competitors on other teams. They've been the ones that have been doing the data entry. So because they're professional paintball players, they know what they're looking up and they can keep up with the stream, which means that we can do it live and accurately. And they're also not playing the events, right? So there's kind of an untapped pool of people. So like Max Wakefield, Mason, Hunter, TC, they were the guys that helped me last time. We've got a rotating cast that kind of input into that. And then Jeremy has been helping me with some of the graphics and visualizations.
Jeremy Doan on our team.
So there's a whole bunch of people who are currently just putting in their time for nothing back. And then we've obviously been trying to pay this developer to get it something that's accessible and looks professional to everyone. And the end goal of it is that we built some fun games on the top of it. We bridge out the stats to collect more than just kill count. I think me and Max have had lots of lengthy conversations about that, and there's loads that we think we can do. It's just expanding the team requires a bit more investment, that kind of stuff. So we're going to get it off the ground first. And then the final big one, which I'm really excited about, is it looks like we'll probably be able to feed this into the Go Sports at some point. That just requires some sort of technical figuring out from me, but they've been quite clear about how that should all, like the format they need for that to be, so they can pull it in live. And so that it hopefully goes somewhere pretty exciting pretty fast. But yeah, there's a bit of a cast behind it all, who are doing all the hard work in the moment that make it actually happen.
All right, so where should everybody online keep their eyes peeled as far as an announcement or a release for this?
Yeah, so we've made all of our social media accounts. So it's just all of it's Pick'em Paintball. That's the name of the brand. The website is live. It's currently a bit clunky for mobile, but that should be fixed pretty sharpish. Desktop, it's working pretty slick. It is still work in progress. So there's Grayson has been very helpful at pointing out numerous bugs and little visual quirks that need fixing, as have other people. So, but just know that they're all kind of actively being worked on. We just kind of want to get it moving now. We've had sort of 3 events of runway, and it feels like it's the right time to let people play around with it.
Sweet. Well, I just found your Instagram, and I'm now your 3rd Instagram follower on there. So
yeah,
hopefully that's going to be growing pretty quickly.
I thought that might be something like that going on. Yeah, there it is.
Love it. All right. So yeah, y'all keep your eyes peeled at Pick'em Paintball. Can't wait to see what comes out of that.
Should be a few things coming out on that before game start Friday morning.
Yeah, get on there and
you'll be
you'll be competing against pros, so it'll be fun.
All right, yeah, I can't wait. I know I sent Grayson kind of the in-house thing that I do with my team, so that's like right up my alley, and I'm looking forward to another way to be able to.
Yeah. We are hoping to be able to make things like private leagues. So, you can make something for you and your teammates, or, if hypothetically, right, HK want to do like a HK league where all the HK players can join, stuff like that. Like that's all in the plan as well. So we're hoping to make it a little bit more personal than just here's a global leaderboard, but we're working hard at it, and it'll just take a bit of time, basically.
Love it. All right. So Grayson, this next one's just for you, and it's brought to us by Colt Roberts and his training regimen Paintball Kumite. So you and I have had a more recent, rather unique connection story that helped to make this episode tonight happen, and the photo of which is featured in the thumbnail for this episode. So let's talk a little bit about your recent win at the first WC event this year with the Vegas Brawlers.
Yeah. So I haven't been able to play in that league since the 2022 season, just because of, being on Aftermath. And then when I was able to play because I did well in Europe and the US, I was ranked out of it. And And for me to be ranked out again, Aftermath had to do better than they did at Tampa. So I snuck under the radar and was able to last minute play with the Vegas Brawlers. And that's a camp I've been playing against for, maybe 7-8 years. And they've always been a really competitive team. They've won events almost every season. They've won the series prize before. And yeah, so I asked if I could play, and they obliged, and I got to fit right into the group, and it was a fun roster. There was some of the players from New York Wrecking Crew as well. So it was a fun, dynamic roster. And I got instead of being a wrecking ball, which I get to be on Aftermath sometimes, I got to be more of a anchor, and sit back and tell the kids to calm down a little bit. And it was a gritty event. Every game we would get a lead, whether it was big or small, and then we would drop the lead, and then we would have to fight back. And especially that Sunday morning, we went down a few points, and then we got a lead. And then we went from having a lead to having to start 3-on-5 and being down and having to win a 20-second point to tie it up. And, it was just crazy moments like that really brought us to the finals, where I think we finally got our stuff together and we were able to control that game pretty much till the end. And the TJ Bastards, they put up a good fight. I just think we spent the entire tournament making mistakes, and we finally just corrected them to overcome and play how we wanted to play in that game.
Yeah, it's amazing how adversity earlier in the tournament, as much as you don't want it in the prelims or in that quarterfinal game, if you go through it and learn how to adjust and stay mentally tough and go, oh, we've already been in this situation. Yeah. Really come semifinals or finals, you're like, okay, well, this is, the thinking's already done. We've already solved that problem, and just crack on.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. Even though we went undefeated at the event, every game from the first one at 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning was a battle. So, and you definitely helped as well with some of your scouting reports, mid-game, post-game, pre-game. And I thought it kind of started to build a good rapport between you and I, because we're both very detail-oriented. And as soon as you'd be like, this guy's doing this, then we know the adjustment to make the next point. So appreciate your help as well.
Yeah, I've heard you're a very good scout, Chris. That's the word on the street.
Oh, appreciate the kind words. I mean, like we were saying so you were also coaching the D4 team that I was guessing with that weekend. So I just said, hey, got nothing better to do all day. And like you were saying, with having big leads and then having to come back from behind and every game being a grinder, like the focus for that weekend was just going +1. And it was cool to hang around that group of players in the pits, because I didn't get the feeling that it felt like everybody had kind of been there before, and there was like a freedom that y'all were playing with, rather than just being super tense or high strung. It was just freely playing paintball. And afterwards, when you said that was your first premier win in WC, that's not the vibe that I got all weekend at all. It just felt like it was hey, we're just here having fun playing paintball.
Yeah, for me, not those guys. Those guys have all been there before. But for me, it was, almost 10 years of top 3 finishes, but never actually getting a gold medal in the X-Ball events. Only have won one of the 10-man events. So thanks to those guys, finally got over that hurdle.
Yeah, they got their big backpacks on for you.
Yeah. I don't even think I shot one person all weekend, So.
There's no confirmed kills for you.
I don't know. I think I have a video. I think it was from Rufino that says otherwise. Finals. There's definitely some work done.
Don't post it anywhere. Keep that one.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, this next question is brought to us by Jared Sherman's website, texanhemp.com, which, by the way, shout out to Jared Sherman, formerly of Austin Notorious. He's making his return to the pro division with San Antonio X Factor this weekend. So can't wait to see him representing San Antonio. So both of you guys play a lot of paintball and you also do a lot of traveling for paintball. So what advice do you have for any divisional players or maybe even other pro players out there that are looking for these opportunities to travel more?
Travel more. Well, living in Europe makes it easier to travel because all the events are in different countries. That's quite exciting. But if you don't want to move all the way to Europe, yeah, I think the opportunities come to those that put themselves out there, to be honest. I think most of the pros, the US guys that, get opportunities in Europe are putting themselves out there. It's difficult. I'd say that I don't really know the answer for a divisional player. I don't know if you have any recommendations, but at least from the Europe side, we get hit up every off season by like 10, 15 pro guys going, just registering my interest in case you want anyone ever. So, yeah, put yourself out there is what I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, Greeny's right. If you want to go play in Mexico, go talk to pro players that go to Mexico, or message the team page, or just talk to Arturo, right? Yeah, don't be scared to just go up and talk to someone or message them on Instagram. The worst thing that will happen is they say no, or they refer you to someone else. That's how I got these opportunities. I wanted to go play in some of these places, and then someone said yes, and I got to go play, and it's honestly been pretty life-changing.
Yeah. I think once you get one opportunity, people know that you're, and if you play well as well, people know that you're like someone who wants to travel for it. And when that, your name's high up the list the next time the space opens up.
Yeah.
So getting a foot in the door is probably the hardest part. So if it feels like it's really hard, it probably only gets easier.
Yeah. My advice also would be, if you're the guy who always says, I want to go play in these leagues, and then you finally get the invite and you turn it down, probably it's going to hurt your chances later. So when you get those opportunities, just jump in with 2 feet.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, definitely. I think the biggest part is for sure putting yourself out there. Like even me as a divisional player, I got that opportunity to travel from Texas to go compete in California as a D3 player. And it took just posting on Facebook is such a good tool now for the paintball scene. There's a lot of different groups. Like you can go online and see, there's the WCPPL free agents group, or the free agents group for USXBL, or for the Northeast, or for Florida. And that's just within the US. I'm sure there's plenty of other groups in the other leagues in other countries as well. That's a big tool. And obviously, like you said, Greeny, there is some proving yourself that you have to do once you get there. You've got to produce.
Yeah, you got to play well.
Yeah.
But that's true. Yeah. The players who are playing there anyway. Anyone who gets into the league for a team, is no one's going to keep you around if you're not producing, unless you're just there for beers.
There's space for that too. Just know who you're playing with.
Yeah,
definitely. But just posting is going to be huge, and there may be even opportunities to eventually do it like partially or even fully sponsored for the trip. Probably not your first time, but not too long after, as long as like you show that, hey, that investment that group made to bring you along was worth it, and you show that value, the opportunities will definitely continue to come.
Yeah, I mean, that's how we got connected, right? You put yourself out there, and I saw it, and I'm coaching a team, and instantly we, now there's a whole new network that we both have.
It's the same in anything, right? You can't get a job if you don't apply for it. Like, why would paintball be massively different?
Exactly. All right. So real quick, everybody that's here in the chat, first, thank you for being here this evening. If you have any questions for Grayson or for Greeny, go ahead, get them in now, because we're getting towards the end. So for both of you guys, this next one's brought to us by 71 Design. So looking to this weekend, the NXL Atlantic City event is just around the corner. So how would you say practice has gone for y'all over the last few days?
Oh, practice. We played a lot of paintball. That's definitely the culture shock coming from Europe. Grayson said earlier, like, oh, skid of paint when no one's done until the paint's done. And like, there's the same attitude in Europe, but the amount of paint is much smaller. So the amount of paintball played is much less. So that's definitely a culture. We played a lot of points, which, you should, going into an event, played some matches, did some situational stuff. I think we were just, after the first day, we were kind of feeling out the layout. I think Saturday and Sunday, we were like, okay, we know what we're comfortable with. Let's try other things and see if we can push the envelope a bit, see what, things are a bit on the line, but can we find ways to make them work? That I think is really productive. It takes you out of your comfort zone a little bit. Just lots and lots of paintball. Pretty good. I thought it was quite fun. Came over to play paintball and definitely did that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was a really productive weekend that, I'm hoping that as we evolve through the season and some of the things that we're trying to accomplish at practice, it translates to the events. I think we had a lot of productive conversations on situations that broke down in our favor and against our favor, right? I think we know this field well, and I'm excited to see, what it actually looks like at the event. Is a little bump in the grass going to change how we want to play or whatever? But I don't know. I think we had a lot of great conversations. We got a lot of dynamic looks, and we got to play ourselves different play styles. We got to play against different play styles. So I think we're really well prepared. And I think this layout, when I first saw it, I was thinking that this layout's going to play how a team chooses to play. And I hope that stays true through the event.
Yeah,
there's definitely some options out there for those that are aggressive enough to go try it and brave enough. I think this layout is going to be pretty fun to watch, but also has the potential to be very, very bloody off the break.
Yeah, that first shot kind of battle is going to be pretty big.
Yeah. I think this layout has more potential for a better show than the Atlantic City one from last year too. So I'm eager to see how that all turns out as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So this question is brought to us by Hydra. So let's hear your predictions for this one, whether it's results in the pro division or how the field will play or anything else that we might see this weekend out of Atlantic City.
I think Matty Marshall's finally going to lose his voice. That's my prediction. It's just going to be cooked. 20 years deep. It's over. Do you have any major predictions? I hadn't really thought about that. I was just focused on us performing.
Yeah, I'm kind of focused on us as well. I just, not to be redundant, I hope that there isn't one set meta of the field. I hope that every team or a set teams say, and maybe it changes between the games, right? Like I think this field has a lot of options if you want to attack every which way, if you want to really get kills off the break and then explode. There's options everywhere, and you can't stop everything.
Yeah.
So I just hope that it stays dynamic from Thursday through Sunday night.
It's funny you say that because the insight into the Lucky 15s group chat. A couple of the guys trained it and were like, oh, I had so much fun. It was such a fun layout. And then the next text was, can't wait to see how the American teams make it boring. And I was like, that's just paintball now, isn't it?
Well, if I've been asking Tom for the pro division to go with 4 pods, I bet you this field would be even more fun with 4 pods.
Oh, yeah. More fun to play, for sure.
Mm-hmm. There's also a lot of bounce shots. I know we talked about that outside of this podcast. I think this field has more bounce shots than I've seen in a while.
More bounce shots than shots.
Yeah. So let's see how those play out, especially with the weather being kind of dynamic. If it rains a little, does that make it more humid, which then makes the bounce shots even better? Or if it's super cold and dry, will it be a non-issue most of the time? So we'll see how that plays out too.
Yep, definitely a lot of factors that go into the bounce shots on their own. I'm not.
Well, the dice shoot some bounce shots, try and get luckier than them.
Yeah. Well, there's your, maybe not be Vegas, but there's your
It's close enough.
next best thing. All right, y'all. So this question is one that I ask everybody that comes onto the show, kind of helps get the word out on anybody like up and coming or flying under the radar or otherwise needs their roses. So it's brought to us by Get That Shot, who is a local Texas media guy. He shoots for HK Army now on the pro field. So message him on Instagram, @get_that_shot if you're needing media coverage either at this weekend's NXL event or any upcoming event in Texas. So Grayson, Greeny, is there anybody in paintball? It could be a team, a player, a brand, a project, a community member that you believe deserves more recognition for what they're doing.
Yeah. I'll give a little shout out shirt I'm wearing, ProPeptides. MyProPeptides.com. It's something that a space that I've been researching heavily for the last few years, and I've been a participant. And Phil Veach with MyProPeptides, he runs a full health clinic out of Arizona, and he offers not only peptides but PRP treatment. And I think it's really amazing to have something like that in the paintball space for whatever your goals are. If your goals are weight loss, injury prevention, injury healing, muscle growth, I think he has even outside of the offerings that he has, he's really smart, and he could help you get dialed as an athlete, whether you're playing D5 or playing pro.
All right, Greeny, how about you? Anybody you want to give some roses to?
Obviously all the team and the support back home. They're always watching all the games. It's been very supportive of me personally. They love sending me little screenshots of things that I did wrong, or when my headgear or doesn't look quite right, or my jersey's too long. So I appreciate that from all of them.
Greeny likes to wear a dress.
Oh,
You'll
yeah.
see.
Sexy.
Hey man, here in Texas, the tall tee is still a thing. So
yeah, I've always thought I'd do well in Texas. I'm excited to go this year. The other people, I guess. I mean, the Texas people probably don't need the reminder, but I was just really like when you mentioned at the beginning that I guess they would leverage, and I made some really good friendships on that. So I was just really pleased to see how well Jake Jesus Christ, Seabart played at the first event when he had to step in as a rookie to the pro division. So I think he deserves a lot more recognition than he's been getting. Right, you're a rookie, you go and play the back center spot. It's one of the hardest spots on the field, and you go and win the event and play pretty much every point. Like, that's pretty incredible to me. It was my rookie event too, and I did not have that performance. So shout out to that guy.
Yeah, shout out to Jake. All right, we do have one question here in the chat before we close from Chris Isaacs. He says he's got on paper you guys beating Uprising and the Sea Dogs, and he'd like to see you guys go stick the Russians and give the Ironmen a good game. So what victory in your bracket would mean the most to them? So I guess what game do you have highlighted on your schedule?
Russians.
Yeah, Russians.
I love playing those guys.
For me, also, as much as I love all the Uprising guys, last time we played them in Texas last year, we were in a 4-on-1, and one of our guys, after he traded, decided to try and wipe a face hit, so that point got overturned. So I'm eager to try to bring it back for that game.
Mine's just Russians. Like most of the American teams for me are new to play against. I played against quite a lot of the American guys, like some of the Damage, Impact, Dynasty lot when we do the World Championship against Grayson. But the Russian Legion crew have been part of Europe for a long time. I remember playing against Karzalev before he even made the Legion squad in the Millennium. Some of the the old school guys, and playing against Malloy for oh my god, like 6-7 years now in Europe. So I'd like to beat them basically. They're all super nice guys when you go and shake their hand and talk to them after the event, but they're really, really talented at paintball, and I think can't not be excited to have the chance to go and show out against some of the best. I mean, they won the season last year, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
They did.
it's good beating.
Yeah, for sure. And according to what Ryan Gray posted on his Facebook, they're going to get back Leo Samotrov after many years of not having him here in the U.S. So that's going to be exciting to see that return.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what that does to their starting five, right? Because then they've got a solid 6. I don't know if first event they trust Samotrov as much as they did before. I don't know how long he's been over here, how much he's been training. I know he played Europe last year, but I'm quite interested to see what that does, because then they have sort of 6, historically reliable guys, and then all the players that they're working on bringing up. That's someone else who deserves some flowers is Carl, who plays for Dynamite in Europe, just made the finals. So he's kind of coming over and playing for Legion for the US events. But yeah, I'm interested to see how they then use the core 6. You imagine, like how are they going to rotate that? Do they take Malloy out of the snake, or do they just rotate, or is it kind of Malloy starts playing everywhere and Leo plays back in the snake where he used to play, or does he just not want? Do they not put him in the snake at all? Right? Like,
yeah.
Who knows? Do they go a full Russian line and just speak in Russian and sit JRAB? Like, all yet to be seen, but it'll be interesting. That's for sure. They got smart coaches, so.
For sure. Well, we're looking forward to seeing how this weekend goes, and obviously good luck to y'all. We'll be rooting for you on, I think your games, you've got the morning bracket. So
Best bracket.
Oh yeah. And one last shout out here in the chat from Diesel Photos. Shout out Max the dog.
Yeah, for sure. Max is the man.
Max is the man. I have a Soko who wanted to be on the show. She's jealous.
Love it. All right, y'all.
Yeah. Thank you very much for having us on.
Thanks for having us.
And just quick couple shout outs to the Woodruff family, ASG Paintball Park, HK Army, Brian Stewart, who's like a big sponsor for the team and sponsor for the team he played with, Precision, Hydra, Tetna, PB, Transfuse, probably many more I might be missing. Shout out to the Luckies for loaning us Greenie as well.
Shout out Luckies and Ainsley.
Yeah, shout out Luckies.
Yeah.
Oh, and Die as well.
Yeah,
for sure. And this is my actually second interaction with the Luckies player. I actually got to know Clint Moore pretty well last year. I gave him a ride to the airport after one of Revo's practices at X Factor.
Clint's an OG.
Yeah.
He's the man. Funny story about Clint, just before we sign off. I used to go to Clint Moore's pro clinics when I was like 14, 15. And then I spent, the last 3 seasons playing with Clint, which was a bit of a full circle moment. So that was quite cool. We had a good time.
Love it. All right, y'all. So I think that does it for our show. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Be sure to go follow Grayson at Grayson Gladstone on Instagram. Also go follow Greenie at Greenie42. What other guests would you like to see on the show? Be sure to leave a comment down below. While you're at it, hit that subscribe button. The show goes live weekly here on usually Wednesday evenings at 7:30 p.m. Central on youtube.com/@Major League Paintball. And recordings are posted to YouTube, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify the next day. Also, one more time, go follow Pick'em Paintball on Instagram. I see you have a 4th follower now.
Yeah, logged in.
So yeah, we're growing pretty quickly. You've doubled your follower count during the course of this episode.
If we do that every time, we get pretty big, pretty fast,
Oh yeah. So one last shout out to my sponsor and partner tier subscribers on Patreon: Get That Shot, Paintball Kumite, Bem Raps, Hydra, XTPL Events, Mariachi Aguilas de Oro, San Antonio 3v3, 71 Designs, TexanHemp.com, QBRofficial.com, and the Splat Zone Trinity 3-man. We will see you guys next week for episode 144, and we will see you this weekend in Atlantic City. Gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you.